All right, folks, welcome back to another episode of History Before Us. I am in Huntsville, Alabama at the Buffalo Soldier Memorial. As you see, well, you will be able to see here soon, shortly. And I am here with William Hampton. And William, they told me in Florence, Philip and Laura said that if I'm with you, I'm with good money here.
All right.
I'm with good money here in Huntsville. So this is William. William, if you don't mind letting people know who you are and your company and where we're at.
Okay, I'm William Hampton. I am a native son, sixth generation native of Huntsville, Alabama, this red clay in North Alabama. My company is Huntsville Revisited Museum. I founded it in 2020, or the museum opened in 2020.
Okay.
We are at the historic 10th Cavalry Hill here in Huntsville, Alabama.
Okay.
In 1898, October 1898, most of the 10th Cavalry members were sent to Huntsville.
Mm-hmm.
These soldiers had served in Cuba, San Juan Hill. The Surgeon General had determined that Huntsville was the cleanest city in America. One of two, West Point, New York was the other. So these soldiers who had served in San Juan, in Cuba, were sent to Huntsville to recover from their illnesses and whatnot. Originally encamped near downtown, downtown Huntsville. They had run into some issues with some of the white citizens and some of the white soldiers. So they were sent 1 mile north of Huntsville, of downtown, to the North Woods. So that's where we are now. And the black citizens in 1898, 1899, referred to this area as 10th Cavalry Hill.
10th Cavalry, yeah, and as you see on this building back here, you all, it says Cavalry Hill. Let me zoom in.
And
there
I
you go,
attended
right
this
there,
school
Cavalry Hill. Okay.
During segregation.
Okay.
So this school was opened in 1958 for Negro students. Alabama integrated its public schools in 1963.
Okay.
Forced integration took place in 1970. So I attended here until 1970, and I had to transfer to another school once we integrated. But the soldiers were camped here, and their stay wasn't all too pleasant. Many of them, some of the white citizens were paying black citizens to murder them. And so there are letters that they had written to the president. Yes, sir. There are letters that many of the soldiers had written to the President of the United States. Get us out of this mud hole. Please return us to areas further north. They were being paid ransom to murder these guys because, you know, they come in, who are these uppity Negroes?
Right.
Their weapons were taken. So I have letters where they were pleading to have their arms returned. Allow us to defend ourselves, the letters state.
So were there bunkers here? Like what was here?
Yeah, they had...
I guess not bunkers, but
they're tents. So
tents,
they were encamped here. So their tents were here, and then in January 1899, they were sent to areas west. So many became park rangers. So they headed west to Texas, to Montana, Colorado, California, some of those areas out there.
Wow.
But Huntsville was one of the stops during that stay.
And as it relates to that being part of Huntsville history, like how has Huntsville embraced that over the years? I see that this was erected in 2010, I believe 2010. So has that history always been part of the fabric of Huntsville? I mean, obviously we know that the Space Center is here or what have you, but how prevalent was this history in K through 12 learning as well as in community?
It was only known in small sections.
Okay.
So my great-grandfather, who was born in 1862, shared this story with me when I was a little boy.
Wow.
Yeah, he served with General Pershing.
Okay, and was he born enslaved?
He was born enslaved,
okay,
but a child. John Lewis Hampton was his name.
John Lewis Hampton.
He lived till 1968.
Wow.
So he poured into me. We had 6 centenarians in my family who I interacted with. 4 were great-grandparents.
Wow.
So Papa shared these stories with us, and so as a student here, we learned this history. Where did it get its name? Once we integrated, we didn't know these stories. Well, we didn't learn these stories in our school books because Alabama school books did not have this history. The Alabama Department of History, Archives and History issued an apology in 2020 because when that department was founded, they intentionally did not archive and curate,
of course,
stories relating to its black citizens. they celebrated the lost cause.
Yeah, of course, of course.
So this history was not taught once we integrated,
Sure.
because those teachers didn't know these stories.
Yeah.
So what I hear many times now as I share history, some people think that this is new or fabricated stories, but no, these stories were
real.
out there. They just didn't know them. So you asked, how did Huntsville embrace it? For the most part, it's been receptive.
Okay.
And so historic societies celebrate these stories, everything from the Buffalo Soldiers. Of course, Dr. William Hooper Council will share a story a little later. And so many of these soldiers, after they got out of the Army, came back to Huntsville. They married women from Huntsville.
Yeah.
Many attended Alabama A&M.
Okay.
We have guys like Wade Hammond, who was born here in Huntsville, and he became a director of the United States Army Band in the 9th and 10th Cavalry. So you have people like that who went on and lived a productive life out in Arizona. So
sure.
Wade Hammond, W.C. Handy is another who came here. But as far as the Buffalo Soldiers, you had Pascal Conley, who was a highly decorated Buffalo Soldier, born here in Huntsville, Alabama.
Born here in Huntsville. Well, sorry to interrupt, but, and I'm going to say something real quick, which is along the lines of what it is that you've been talking about. So you all know that I interview a lot of people, and I tell people the history of enslavement is closer than what you think. So I've interviewed roughly around 6 to 7 people who've had real life interactions with people who were formerly enslaved here in the United States of America. So you are going to make the 8th or 9th person that I have spoken to that has had direct contact with the person who was formerly enslaved, right?
Sat on his knee.
Right, and so
my great-grandfather.
Right, but people don't recognize how close this is. You see what I'm saying? Now, I don't know how old you are. Do you mind saying?
65.
So he's 65, and he has had interactions with someone who was formerly enslaved. Albeit that person was young, it does not matter. They were born into enslavement. Can you just say something real quick to that experience and how quickly we forget here in this country about the institution of enslavement solely because of the fact people think that 1865 was just so long ago?
Right. Well, it brought it home to me that understanding that my great-grandfather was enslaved. So he shared stories with me of his parents and grandparents. And that was just bloodline that I knew. See, there were others in our community who were formerly enslaved, who I actually interacted with and knew. So I always knew that we weren't that far removed from it. As a child, I thought that every older black person was at one time a slave. So it just made it real to me that we were not that far removed from it.
Yeah.
For those who say, oh, the experience wasn't so bad. Now, I never heard my great-grandparents or grandparents say a cross word. They talked about that experience even after enslavement. Sharecropping wasn't a whole lot better.
Yeah.
I have another grandfather who had gotten into some trouble, and he ended up being incarcerated for a number of years.
Convict leasing?
Yes. So late 1920s, early 1930s. And he stole some chickens.
Yeah.
But he ended up doing some hard labor for that. He shouldn't have stolen.
Sure.
But he went back and worked the farm that ancestors had come from. He was sent down to South Alabama.
Wow.
So the convict leasing, that was a part of our heritage as well. So.
Yeah, you had a little bit of everything.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So I didn't want to interrupt you, but
no, that's fine.
But it's just that always stands out to me because people just really are stuck with this number of it being, hundreds of years ago. But, we still have the evidence here with the people. Yeah.
Considering I'm 65, I knew my great-grandfather, my grandchildren, I have grands, not great-grands yet.
Yeah.
So my grands who know me, if they live to be 65 to 70 years old, we're just still not that far removed. We're looking at 4 generations.
Yep. For sure.
4 generations of our heritage. And it's sad that some feel that enslavement, first of all, those who feel that it did not exists, that there's a conspiracy.
Oh, I know it. Yeah, I know it.
And then others who
And
feel...
they'll probably comment on this video too.
Oh, okay. And then others who feel, well, it wasn't so bad.
Yeah.
They were taken care of. And, so I run across so many people who don't understand that thing called freedom. They weren't free. Oh, well, they were well taken care of. No, they weren't.
That's the Stockholm Syndrome.
Yes.
That has transcended. So when we talk about the Buffalo Soldiers, and there's this conversation around, the deployment against indigenous folks, right? And so, but then there were also indigenous enslaved catchers as well, right? So it's always, that conversation is tense because of the interwoven connected roots between the two cultures in general, but also they were also deployed by settlers, colonizers who came to this country and pretty much had rule over them to a certain degree, right? Now, even though this is post-emancipation as it relates to the Buffalo Soldiers, still, right, that oppression and that governing was there. But the Buffalo Soldiers, it was much more than just going out west in these United States, right?
True.
Can you go into the other operations in which they were a part of?
Well, one of the things with July 28th being Buffalo Soldier Day, National Buffalo Soldier Day, interacted with some people who, their history was so complicated because most of the battles that they went into were against indigenous people, people of color. Because even down in Cuba, people of color. So they, oh man, I'm just thinking, their experience, they felt that by being loyal to the Stars and Stripes, that maybe America now will love us.
Not so much.
Maybe, not maybe, that was their hope. They knew if they did this, if Uncle Sam sends us there, then they'll accept us, and that just wasn't the case.
Sure.
I'm sorry I don't have more meat, more nuts and bolts to that.
Just,
But yeah, I did note that, wow, they were always sent into battle against people of color.
Yeah. This is true.
Yeah, to the Native Americans, the indigenous folks were considered savages, and so they sent them out to handle the business.
The quote unquote savages. Yeah, that's wild. So we're here at Cavalry Hill, and you said that this was a school that was built when?
1958.
So 1958, you attended this school.
I attended this school
now, did you
until
live in this
1970.
neighborhood?
I sure did. I lived down on Klondike.
Okay.
This is the old project.
Okay.
The area behind us is called the new project.
Okay. Now, was this due to urban renewal? Is this how this community came about?
This was built also in 1958.
Okay.
This Huntsville Housing Authority property was built for Negroes.
Okay.
That's what we were back then. I was born colored.
Right.
So, but this area was built for Negroes. There's another area just to the west of us called Love Subdivision, named in honor of Moses Love, who was a wealthy black man here in Huntsville.
Okay.
There's a church over in that area called St. Bartley. It's the oldest African-American church, black congregation in the state of Alabama.
Wow.
So that church is also just 2 blocks west of us here. Okay. But the 10th Cavalry Hill School, founded 1850. I'm always talking about 19th century.
Right. 1958.
And then we integrated in 1963.
Okay.
The state of Alabama. Huntsville was the first public school system in Alabama to integrate. This school did not integrate totally until 1970. We had forced integration, and that's when I had to leave during the Christmas break, 1970, and enroll at another school called Terry Heights.
Terry Heights.
Yeah, but Cavalry Hill existed until 1970 as a segregated school.
Okay. Now, were you responsible also for putting up this historical marker?
There were several in the community who came together to erect this marker honoring this area. And now I'm working with the group now to designate this entire area
as historic.
Okay,
that's beautiful. Let's hope that comes into fruition for sure. We need it. So I'm gonna be hanging out with William
All right.
for a little bit today. He's listen, y'all. This brother worked third shift last night. He worked third shift last night, and right now it is 8:22, and we've been communicating since like 6 this morning.
Yes.
So I appreciate your dedication.
Oh, you're
and I'm
welcome,
looking forward
man.
to what else we're about to
All right.
explore here in Huntsville. So let's
Yes, sir.
go
All
to the
right.
next spot. That's it for location number 1. Make sure that you subscribe and share with friends. Also set your notification bell so you'll see where we're going next. Peace.